The soybean. It's been called Wonder Bean, the bean of life, Super Bean, Miracle Bean. All of these names fit this immigrant from the Orient because, like meat, milk, fish, and eggs, it is rich in bodybuilding protein. The miracle of the soybean is that it produces life-giving protein right out of the soil. In addition to this edible protein, soy meal, soy oil, and a multitude of other products are derived from this miracle bean. Because of its characteristics, the soybean is no longer an immigrant. It has become a worldwide citizen of growing influence.
As the American Soybean Association's second 50 years opened, its horizons widened, and both challenges and opportunities increased. After nearly 40 years in Hudson, Iowa, ASA moved to a world headquarters in St. Louis in 1978, and ASA's worldwide reach continued to grow dramatically. Continuing to work with the Foreign Agriculture Service, ASA aggressively expanded its international market development efforts. ASA took its first market development mission to China in 1980, and as a result, doubled down on investment in that market and others. By the mid-1980s, ASA had international offices in 11 locations and was conducting market development programs in 76 countries. In the 1999-2000 marketing year, China became the largest single-country purchaser of U.S. soybeans, purchasing some 20% of total U.S. exports. That connection was strengthened when ASA and its state affiliates successfully lobbied to get passage of permanent normal trade relations between the U.S. and China in 2000. Shortly thereafter, soybean exports reached the 1 billion bushel mark. In 2000, 10 state soybean boards founded WISH, the World Initiative for Soy and Human Health. Managed by ASA, the WISH mission is to increase the use of soy in human and livestock diets in developing countries and introduce U.S. soy to new customers around the world. In 1989, ASA took a major step to secure ongoing, dependable, national funding to continue promoting and growing the U.S. soybean industry. That was when ASA launched efforts to create a national soybean checkoff called SPARK.
By a SPARK, I mean the Soybean Promotion and Research Checkoff. Now, none of you can put this formula to work alone. Only together can you create opportunities for a bright and profitable future.
The National Soybean Checkoff was established with congressional approval in 1990, and under the direction of the USDA would be managed by a new and separate farmer-led entity called the United Soybean Board. With USB in place as a market development and research partner, ASA could place even greater focus on policy work and engagement with state associations and grassroots members. ASA and USB have partnered hand in glove on a number of key initiatives. USB does the market development and research work, while ASA works to create a policy environment that enhances the potential for success. In 2005, ASA and USB decided to create a new entity focused exclusively on global market development. The U.S. Soybean Export Council, or USEC, was formed. And in 2013, the three groups worked together to create the Soybean Sustainability Assurance Protocol, verification that U.S. soybean farmers are doing the right things in the right way when it comes to sustainability. During its second 50 years, ASA leveraged its power as a singular, respected voice for soybean farmers to influence a number of key policies, including helping raise the soybean loan rate in the 1996 Farm Bill during some very tough times for soybean farmers, working with FDA on truth in labeling regulations to stop palm and coconut oils, highly saturated tropical fats, from calling themselves vegetable oils. ASA convinced the FDA to approve a health claim for soy, opening the door for food companies to promote the benefits of soy protein in their products. ASA has participated in trade agreement discussions from NAFTA to CAFTA-DR, from WTO to USMCA, called for common sense in terms of biotechnology approvals and worldwide acceptance, advocated for increased USDA funding for research, from production to genetics to sustainability, pushed for federal legislation and funding to improve the nation's waterways and transportation infrastructure. 1997 was a significant policy milestone for ASA as it partnered with the National Biodiesel Board to gain federal approval for B20, a 20% soybean oil blend with conventional diesel fuel. ASA is all in on biodiesel, from helping create the first biodiesel tax incentive to establishing a renewable fuel standard, to marshaling thousands of soybean farmers to submit comments to the EPA when the RFS was being challenged. In 1919, the year before ASA was founded, U.S. soybean production stood at just over 1 million bushels at a value of $4.5 million. In 2018, production was 4.5 billion bushels at a value of more than $39 billion. Over its first soy century, the American Soybean Association has had a hand in every issue, every challenge, and every opportunity for U.S. soybean farmers. At some point in its history, ASA has been on the leading edge in terms of educating farmers about how to grow and market soybeans, building global markets and worldwide demand for U.S. soy, establishing a national soybean checkoff, helping create 18 different federal farm bills, every single one since the very first Farm Bill in 1933, funding research for new uses and new markets for soy, pushing for free trade agreements and removing export barriers, fighting for sensible regulations and policies affecting soybean farmers, helping create the policies that have enabled the biodiesel industry to thrive, developing generations of new leaders for the soybean industry, and essentially transforming what was once a little-known crop into a global juggernaut and source of pride and profit for American soybean farmers. Today, ASA is focused primarily on advocating for policy and trade and serving as the respected voice for U.S. soybean farmers on Capitol Hill and around the world. The fact is that without the commitment, leadership, and vision of the American Soybean Association, its state affiliates, and its farmer leaders over the past 100 years, it's likely that the growth and success of the U.S. soybean industry would simply not have happened. And to think it all began in a humble soybean field in Camden, Indiana. Just imagine what lies ahead in our next soy century.